Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. Let's get started with our guest today. First question in a few sentences. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure thing. Thanks, Sean. So my name's Zach Hickerson. My background has been in the technology staffing arena. Spent the majority of my career living all up and down the East Coast. Started in a recruiting role, worked my way up through sales and then to executive level management. I am now in Atlanta, Georgia, about to start a new role in the healthcare staffing industry, which I am beyond excited about with a company called Premier Healthcare Professionals. Start that on Monday and I'm eager to get going.
That's fantastic. Question number 2. What's the best thing about working with a team?
Oh, goodness. The opportunity to continue to learn. I think as we lead, we have to continue to learn, right? I think I saw a quote the other day, we hire smart people and then get out of their way. I think, part of leading is empowering and acknowledging that, hey, other people have great ideas too. It's not your way or the highway. And so, and then, secondly, I think to me, I've always enjoyed watching people grow and climb the ladder and achieve success, however they define that, whether it's monetarily or as it, relates to their own responsibilities. I've always enjoyed promoting people and just watching them continue to bloom and blossom as a professional, as a person. And to be able to play just a small role in somebody's life in a positive way is, to me, very fulfilling.
I like that answer a lot. That's a good, what I refer to as a multiplier attitude. I like that a lot, that you're interested in the success of your team. So good for you.
Absolutely.
Question number 3. I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that people are only going to be as engaged as you are as a leader, right? You hear the term lead from the front. And I think that goes not only with skills and expertise, but also with attitude, enthusiasm. And so, to me, if I'm not coming to work every day engaged and enthused and excited and passionate about what we're doing, and if I'm not, disciplined in my day-to-day responsibilities and activities, then how could I ever expect everyone else to be? I think, especially in these uncertain times, people are coming to work, or well, maybe not coming to work, but at least getting on a Zoom call, with lots of different things weighing on them. And so I think it's important to, one, have a certain level of compassion and empathy for that, to be engaging with them, not just at a professional level, but also on a personal level, because, ultimately, if people are carrying burdens and weights, they're going to bring that into the workplace. They're going to bring that into how they're interacting with their colleagues, how they're interacting with clients and customers. And so I think it's just important for me to continue to be self-aware, but also very much in tune with how the health of each individual that we're leading and that we're responsible for, and then at a professional and personal level.
That's awesome. Great information about, especially mixing both the professional and personal interests that we should have as leaders for the members of the team and everybody that reports to us. That's great information.
Yeah.
Question number 4. What other piece of advice do you have for leaders of teams?
Yeah, I think for me, as I've reflected on my career, I've had some success, but a lot of failures, right? We learn from our mistakes. I heard it said that you learn things 3 ways. You either learn it the easy way, the hard way, or the tragic way. Easy way is to learn from other people's mistakes. Hard way is to learn from your own, and the tragic way is to not learn at all. So I think that, to me, for other leaders, it's continue to learn from your mistakes, acknowledge them with humility. Swallow your pride and just continue to grow as a person. I think the other 2 things, as a leader, that I think we have to simplify it. I think in an age of so much technology and resources and ideas and books and podcasts on leadership and how to do this, that, and the other, I think the more simple we can make it, the better, right? So to me, it's lead with character, lead with consistency. If you can operate in character and be a consistent leader, and that's the little things, doing the little things right, showing up on time, staying committed to your one-on-ones with your team, staying committed with, at your schedule and what you're doing and how you're holding them accountable. I think consistency is key. But if you're leading without character, eventually the ship is going to sink because it's built on sand. If you're not operating with character and integrity and trust and all those things, then I don't see how you can continue to sustain a high level of leadership over time.
I completely agree. That consistency is a critical piece.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Question number 5, what other successful leaders of teams would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
Oh my goodness. First company I ever worked for, company called Insight Global. Grateful for all the leadership that I had there, all the training. Specifically, there's a man by the name of Mike Fromhold who I worked for when I was living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was a sales rep at the time. He was a sales manager. Goodness, I think he's now executive vice president, lives here in Atlanta. He and I have kind of reconnected over the last few months, or maybe the last year or so, but I look back and I'm just incredibly grateful for the role that he played in my life. The founder of the company, Glenn Johnson's phenomenal. Reconnected with the CEO not too long ago, Bert Bean, who is, goodness, he's on Fox News and all other kinds of different podcasts and stuff. He'd be a great guy for this podcast. But yeah, another gentleman by the name of Chris Chula. He just wrote a book called We Culture. He's big about culture and engagement. And I think he's another one. I worked for him when I lived in New York City. And so those would be two people that come to mind very directly that have affected me positively. And I'm grateful for that. I think you become more and more grateful even after the fact, right? You look back, in the moment, you're grateful, but then you look back, you're like, man, they really played an integral part in my life, not only as a person, as a professional and beyond.
Those are great comments. And I think I'm glad that you recognize those people. And I agree with you that sometimes that hindsight perspective is really valuable.
It's always 2020, right?
It is. And it helps us. I like how you phrased it, though, that it helps us kind of increase our appreciation and gratitude for those opportunities and those people. So thank you.
Agreed.
And you kind of talked about it just ever so briefly in this last question, but the last question that I always ask is, tell us about your first job. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but anything else you'd like to add?
That was my first job out of college as a recruiter in technology staffing. But my first job was when I was 16 years old at a golf shop. I regripped golf clubs. I sold golf clubs. And, goodness gracious, I think I was working for like $6.75 an hour. To me, at that time, it was all the money in the world because I could afford to buy a new set of golf clubs every few months. And but it taught me discipline. It taught me responsibility. It taught me customer service. I got to see kind of the nuances and the behind the scenes of a business, and so I'm grateful for that. And, had various jobs after that. I was a health and exercise science major in college. So I did some personal training. I think all of it, every job that we have, every responsibility that we have, every project we have, every interaction that we have can really refine us into either a better person if we choose to do that and put forth the effort to learn and be aware of, hey, you know what, I'm you never arrive at you never achieve perfection. The goal is progress, right? So I think if we can all just continue to make a little bit of progress daily, it's key. But yeah, my first job was working in a golf shop. I still try to play a little golf here and there, and not near as good as I used to be. It gets super frustrating, but that was my first gig.
I enjoy golf as well. I just went and played Saturday, but did not play very well. And so I won't tell you what score I got, but
that's okay.
That's great. Zach, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn, Zach Hickerson on LinkedIn. You can reach me. I've got a personal kind of corporate email address at zach.hickerson@a321consulting.com. As I mentioned, I'm about to start a new gig on Monday, and I'll be sure to update my LinkedIn with all of that contact information. But yeah, would love to connect and collaborate and network. And if there's anybody that sees this that I can help, whether it be personally or professionally, feel free to don't hesitate to reach out.
Fantastic, thank you. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, you can go to teamengagementpodcast.com and download our engagement booster tip sheet with some ideas on how to boost engagement from the time that you hire the employee to the time you need to part ways with them. Again, that's teamengagementpodcast.com. Thanks so much for joining us today and have a great day.